We don't get a lot of correspondence from people here, but Bryce Lee had sent me a 5/8 inch cutter for the Davis key seater that we've got after he saw our video, and that was very nice of him. It will go in with our stock, and I had called him. He said to stop by sometime if I'm in his area. He's a machinist with a shop. And then I got this letter from Hugo saying that he is working in a shop now, but he's not doing machine work, and he's impressed with what the mold repair people are doing. And he likes CNC. He wanted to know how I got started and what I would suggest for somebody else starting out. I really don't have a lot of suggestions for people starting out, to be honest. The world has changed a lot since when I started. When I started, lots of people wanted to be machinists. You had to go to college at that time to get your foot in. Now, there's not that many people that want to get into machining, but there also aren't that many places to go and learn it. Interested in CNC also. One of the things I'd say with CNC is it's good while you can. The first thing is learn the basics of machine work. If you can get in at the company you're already working at, I mean, that's a good one. If they have any kind of an opening in the repair shop for the molds. If you know of another area around, it's so different from one place to another, and it's hard to say. The CNC machining, that comes along later. If you want to be good, it's good to get into the basics first. There's things you're just not going to know with just programming the machine. There's just no way you can know it without physically being there. And you say, well, you could watch the CNC, you can learn some things, you can catch on to different things that help with chatter, but being right there and watching it chatter, having your hands right nearby it where they could get ripped off, which you don't do on a CNC. You're a ways away from it. It's just a different learning as to the intuitive feeling for the metal. Now, if you are going to go into CNC, then there's the thing, are you going to go really into CNC, or are you just going to follow along with what's easy on it? Because if you want to get more into it, I would say first on CNC is study programming. You know, I don't do a lot of G-code. I never have done a lot of G-code and CNC machining. I've done some, but not a lot. On the other hand, I've done quite a bit of PLC programming. I used to program mainframes years ago in Fortran back at college. Yes, real common, not used anymore. I do not know C++. You know, that's the common one today that people use. It's supposed to be easy. But the fact of learning a programming language, any programming language, will help you with other programming languages. And where I say that is when you start doing subroutines, when you do where the machine is inspecting, where the machine is going in between, say, 3D printing and machining, the really high-end stuff. If you want to be able to do things, there's going to be a point where you're going to be able to use your knowledge of actual computer programming, where you're going in and doing longer things than just a subroutine that's already programmed for you in a G code or an M code. So being able to do that, and it doesn't matter too much which one of the languages you learn. If you learn a language, the concept is the same of how to tell a computer the instructions. And once you get that concept down, you can pick up a second language in computer really easy. It took me 2 weeks when I first went into doing PLCs, but that was because the book had the wrong syntax. And you see that all the time. I found out that the correct syntax, and if you're working with Koyo PLCs, by the way, the correct syntax is in the software itself. The book is wrong. Maybe they've updated it by now. I haven't actually programmed anything with the Koyos for a while. That was where I first got into that. Very aggravating when the syntax in the book is wrong. But I found that somebody had little notes of the errors when they wrote it in the actual program that told you the correct syntax. Anyway, that's been over 10 years ago, so it may be different now. It may all work. Maybe they've updated the book, but the concepts are good. Now, as we started with the other part of this, I wish I had more information. It's going to be different in different places. How did I start into this? I started into this, as I said, on a little quick what got me into it when I was a kid. Little gears in a car that didn't quite match up from one toy car to another toy car. That was the impetus that got me into wanting to know about manufacturing. But what I was really into was building weird cars, inventing things, building little mixers, doing different things. And I've always wanted to be the actually productive, functional inventor. A lot of times I do designing and per se inventing for customers, but that's a no-charge thing that comes along because you're only inventing something that's done for one-off. You're making one or two of them for somebody, and whatever you have invented has no extra value. To put something out there that actually is reproducible, economically, making money, I've chased that for a long time. That was the reason for the shop. That was really the push for all of this. It really was prototyping, inventing, making new stuff, doing things that way. It was not about doing machine work for other people. Now I'm doing machine work for other people. My latest thing that I would like to expand to as far as for doing machine work for other people, and I might also go backwards for a little bit and might go and play with gold mining again a little bit. I've done a lot of different things over the years that have added into my knowledge that helps with machine work, or the machine work helps with gold mining, truck driving, whatever, a lot of different things. But I'd like to set up a foundry. That's what I'd like to do. It's technically borderline whether the borough here considers it legal or not, but that's a different issue. They say smelters are illegal. Foundry is not a smelter, so there is a difference there. Smelter is where you are taking dirty metal, you are cleaning it, and there's more off-gassing of things. So, and I haven't looked at their regulation. It's a silly one they posted years ago because one neighbor was mad at another neighbor because they were burning insulation off of copper wire. That's really what it all came down to. And yeah, the one neighbor was being obnoxious, but the other neighbor should have just gone over there and said, hey, would you please, not do this and have it blow in my direction. Let's work on this a little bit. Let's work together. Nonetheless, the government got in it, and it was a big ooh, can't do. So I'm just rattling around. Yeah, lots of years. I could say I did this mining, did that trucking, none of it was planned. Is the point of my rattling around about all these things. I really didn't plan to be here in this shop this way. When I bought this shop, my idea was, and I've seen some of the things that I worked on get produced by bigger companies, get sold. It's not that I had bad ideas, it's you got to have the right idea with the right finances at the right time. Now my latest one, which is not going forward, I was going to make some high-end air rifles. And when I was and that was why I had the CNC milling machines in here, which are no longer in here. I was going to be making some high-end air rifles. There was a lot of interest in that. Most of the interest, though, was 15 years ago, 14, yeah, 10 years ago. Yeah, it's only been 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when I got really started on it, when I borrowed the money and started putting stuff towards that, was working on it, I also got really busy in the shop. So I got a little too sidetracked because I had a lot of good paying production work for customers. So, put money in the bank or go broke while you're trying to get enough to get this going. In the last 10 years, the 60 and 70-year-old men that really were the core market for this neat air rifle have passed away because they're now 70 and 80, or they're just no longer interested in it. Young people, while they still would be interested in it, are not interested in it for $5,000. They're interested in it for $1,500. I figure my production cost would be between $2,000 and $3,000 in a fair production. So it's really stupid for me to go forward on that. So that was, I wasn't really like these CNC machines couldn't be used or anything. They just couldn't be used for what I wanted them for. And I need the space for other things. I am where I am. I've learned a lot of things I wouldn't know had I become a great inventor early on. But I'm a good machinist because I wanted to be an inventor. I guess that's the short of it. It's not really that I wanted to be a good machinist. I wanted to be adequate at machining so that I could tell other people how to do it. As time went on, though, that ended up being my core center thing that I do. So here I am, a machinist, used to be gold miner, certified welder at one time, trucker, and just plain all-around old guy that has a machine shop. And Hugo, I wish you well.